You did not get a paper. There's some extras up here. Make sure you get the right one. Nope. And these look like this one. That's some extra paper up here as well. So you are going to start with your 4-H. Alright, so we are going to be drawing from reference, guys. Please stop throwing, Wyatt. We're going to start with our 4-H. Alright, so anytime you start drawing a still life, you want to draw the object that is closest to you. In our case, what would be the object that is closest? Is it called a circle? Sphere. A sphere. What's the difference between a circle and a sphere?
Sphere is 3D.
Yes, circle is 2D. Sphere is 3D. One's fat or flat. One looks three-dimensional.
Where does it go?
Right here. 6 hour. Alright, so I know a lot of you are going to end up drawing this too small. Guys, I need everyone to pay attention. Some of you guys are going to end up drawing this too small, so I want you to pay attention so you're drawing it large enough. I'd rather your objects run off the paper than you draw really small. We are going to draw this at a larger scale. Okay, it's not going to be the same size as this paper. Our paper is a little bit bigger than this, and we're going to draw it just a little bit bigger than what it shows on the paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to sketch out my composition. So I'm going to start with the object that is closest to me, which is the sphere. So I'm just drawing a circle. Now I want you guys to look at this circle compared to the sphere. Can you tell that it's a lot bigger than what it shows in the photo? Yes? So you want to draw it larger. So we start off with a circle. Because what's going to make it look three-dimensional? Your shading. Okay, so we started by drawing a circle larger than what it shows on the paper. Then the next object you're going to go to would be the one that's second closest.
Would that be the cone?
That would be your cone, yes. You always sketch everything out before you start shading. That way, if you need to make any adjustments, it's easier on you and you don't have a bunch of shading to erase. I want you to pay attention to the distance between your objects. Okay? There's not a whole big gap in between the cone and the sphere. So do I want to draw it really far away? No. I want to draw it about the same distance as it is in the photo. And then I'll go to my cylinder. If you mess up, if it doesn't look right, what do you have in your kit?
Eraser.
You have an eraser. Erase and try again. Close the line. There. It's a little easier for you guys to see now. Alright. Shh. I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to draw your 3 shapes, and then I'm going to show you guys how to do the cube. Some of you guys are going to need some help on the cube, so I want you guys to pay attention when I draw this.
If we don't have to draw a cube, we can go ahead.
Who's that?
I know who that is.
Shh. Alright, want everybody look up here at the cube now. Okay, I'm going to draw the cube right beside my cone. What I'm going to start off with is the front of it. The cube is kind of at an angle, so I'm going to draw the front of it at an angle. I think it needs to be just a little bit bigger, and my cone may even run off my paper, and that's completely fine since I'm drawing at a larger scale. Alright, then you're going to take each corner and draw a line, and then draw your parallel lines. But you want the cube to look like it's at an angle because it's not perfectly straight on the paper. Okay, it's not a square, it's a cube, which means it's got multiple sides. And that is our first step. And I'm going to walk around and see how everybody is doing.
Miss Cindy, I need help on this though.
Yep. Let me find my mask and then I'll make my way around. Make sure you're not drawing too small.
I need your help.
And make sure that you guys are paying attention to the size ratio.
I don't mess up a little bit. Okay, now this little.
I can't see anything, it's too blurry, I see one faint line. And
I think I'm circling one up These are easy. Miss Minnie, come here. He's like, no. What happened
okay, well, I go to your funeral.
Oh wow, thank you, Jesus. That's really
Caleb, I wouldn't be going. Hey. They always said the second coming of Christ would be peaceful. Oh, no, I'll figure it out.
Second.
Sitting here contemplating those things.
I'm sitting
No,
here.
turn it on. Great fan of the community.
I can't hold it.
You'll be next week.
Hey, man. I can't.
You, oh,
Shot through. Are you like, if I just leave my whole time like that, shot.
I can't.
It's like stabbing. Ended upside down.
Do not get married.
Mine's circle. My circle's right here.
So we're drawing two pillars.
Yeah, and I
Walk around the table to your side.
I guess that works.
I know, but they're
Guys,
still RC.
the reason you have a reference photo is you are drawing it. Guys, zip it. You are drawing it in the placement that you see it. If your cube is at the top of your paper, you need to draw it in the bottom of your paper.
Hell no.
No, draw it at the top corner of your paper. Drawing one at a time in the order that they are. You're drawing a little bit small. Put your cone
Well,
in the
that's everything's on.
That way you're taking out most of your paper. You feel a lot of
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, I do that they're drawing, but I'm trying to put this there on us.
You guys, I have knives.
Yeah, it is.
Wait, I'm right. I have one.
I have one,
And they're all instructions to a fine point.
and I just have two knives.
Just one poking of that.
Oh, I forgot the names. Oh, no. Oh, shit.
I landed.
Hmm. I would draw your cone closer to your circle.
Yeah, so I assume you're the same.
Yeah, move that stuff over.
Yeah, I got it.
I got it.
I get to now. I wasn't gonna at first. How does this thing work? I still cut it crooked.
I was wide open.
You don't need this paper, right? I was like, I was about to say, it's too late now. What you do is you line it up, you hold your hand, and you cut it. That makes me nervous. This is the safety. As long as your hand's past there, you don't need to. That was a little more straight. It just takes practice. I want to go home. Huh? I want to go home. I'm glad the cheerleaders don't have to cheer. Well, one of our girls has to get tested. I ain't around her. I don't like her. It's not me like sick around. Alright!
What are you doing?
What?
Nobody's there yet.
Like, we all aren't artists like you. I'm the one who's good for you.
That show don't look right. But I'm like,
Madeline,
Yes?
I don't need lip.
Sorry.
I guess
My first cube was better, but very tired. Like, you can't rent it. It's
It's
still pretty. My attitude was a lot worse. Pretty proud of myself. Jesus. And my don't tell me that. Do you? Tell me the one. The circle.
That's not right.
Are you excited?
That looks like a big
It didn't, you didn't get through that many. It didn't scare me. Like, I
Yours
wasn't
just
scared of all
wide.
that.
Mine's
Like the second it
Your
happened,
mom.
like, oh,
Jesus.
Yeah, because when you spin it,
well,
so
I started spinning, I was like,
What's your favorite color?
right.
Don't tell him. It's
The only thing that really hurt was,
There you go. He is gay.
I'm already,
Yeah,
see, I already
cylinder,
sick.
movie makes you draw a cat. It's in our
Are you gonna switch?
The paint will be rainbow,
Not really.
but there'll be rainbow
They're
underneath.
just big.
He just made it
Feel
raw
sorry
rainbow.
for your
No. No, I didn't know.
Almost so much. But
I ain't fixing that.
same
You
thing
use
as
that.
on
No.
My puzzle's flat at the bottom. I'm
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Beasley.
I think
Mine
mine's
looks like that.
I don't race, like, when that happened, I raced every race that year. Ever since then, I'll just try to skip right now.
She's got Jesus.
We go on Monday. Didn't even know.
I went for the down.
She's got
Yeah,
Jesus.
first
She
time.
doesn't want to.
Oh,
Even as one parent.
no.
You went
But
hard.
like, he's not my perfect guy. I want to tweak that. I mean,
4 times.
You like snow something?
Good for you.
I got
Chicken.
I have a chicken dick.
Yes.
You guys like no footage from the music?
More correctly, a rooster
And then
dick.
I'll just have another,
There's
There's
no
birds up.
chicken.
now my new
And Roger's
Do you have a YouTube channel for it?
All three of them.
I just, cause
I know some people have like YouTube channels.
Doug and
Jesus, scary. Anybody know?
That's what it said.
Yeah, I just,
That's a good way to do it.
yeah, I just do like.
I see like 5 people with phones out. Put them up. I want you texting, and I want them on your table, I want them on your table, put them
First
away.
flag on me.
If you need to-
What would be a
My phone's not here.
Your boat is in
I wish you would. I'm so sensitive.
Caution, yellow flag.
Get a haircut.
Just record.
Your maker's are fine. I don't think they're always like that.
I've had some fake things.
You make good cakes, and then you destroy
I
them.
got 5 of them.
Yes.
They're a little long.
Yes, I'm Italian.
I go for a water bottle.
Who would win? Mario or
Like yours,
Probably me.
we raced together.
Yeah, like 2 minutes. I'll work you there.
So you guys know well. He decided to
Alright.
down for a
I'm not good at circles.
Well, he went up and trained and pulled into my heart. And then he went and was doing stupid things like trying to get.
He's having the second
and all that.
Come back here. You come back here.
And then
You wanna hear it?
he just
You
wanted to
wanna
know.
hear it? You wanna hear
What's the
it?
second
Well,
amendment?
those me and him running talked to him.
What?
He ended up.
Well, I mean,
he went
technically-
into-
Technically, I can have words when I want to.
Gary's in me.
Every time she hits me, I'm a mirror. Oh, I didn't
He
hit you.
was kids over there.
I'm going to hit you.
Like the bear arm, so I can like shoot a bear. and have
No
it-
hitting, Lexi.
I got it.
I'll start hitting.
Alexis?
I know your first name.
He's like,
Starts with an A.
Hey.
But I mean, honestly, there's a-
No.
Yep.
You got
Alright. Need voice off. Everybody look up
Go
here.
find out.
No.
Slick.
No, you wanna cook?
I like this.
Alright. So we're going to stick with that same pencil, which I'm going to switch to that one now.
wait, what pencil are we supposed to use?
4H. Okay. Now what you need to do is we're going to use the same technique that we used with the value scale, but we're going to apply it with our objects now. So if you look on here, our light source is probably over here in this area, which means the light is shining here, which is why we have this bright light on the table, and then we've got lighter values on the right side and darker values where the shadows are on our left side. Our shadows also go on the outside of our objects. So whenever we are drawing just the outlines, they are called contour lines. So what I'm going to do before I start shading is I'm going to take my pencil and I am going to lightly draw my shadow outlines on my objects. So I'm just drawing where my shadow is on the table, and where it overlaps on each shape. I'm using the 4H. And we're just drawing the shapes of the shadows. This is going to make things look more three-dimensional as well because the shapes are going with the shape of the objects. We're using the same one, just our 4H. And you'll see there's a couple different spots on these shapes where there's different values, and I'm going to draw those as well. So that way I know where my value shifts are.
You wanted to draw the shadow on the ground?
Yep, you're drawing the shadow on the table and the shadow where it overlaps on each shape.
What if you made them so spread out they pretty much don't overlap?
Well, you can make that shadow really long if they're too spread out. Or you can take your eraser, erase that shape, and move it a little closer. That's why I told you guys when you drew these out, what did you need to pay attention to? The spacing of your shapes according to how they were on your paper. Some of you guys were drawing the shapes randomly on the paper. If you did that, you need to erase them and draw them how you see them on the still life. Your shadows are also going to fill up some of that empty space. I'm even going to draw where the light's kind of spreading across the table as well. There's a light area where there's a highlight inside the shadow where the light kind of reflects. I want you guys to continue on the shadows. This is where we're going to end today, and we'll pick up where we left off tomorrow.